Hi, my name is Jonathan Mitchell, and I'm the co-founder and co-director of the UCAN Prep for College. In this very short video, I'm going to share with you the #1 secret that helped a UCAN student get into Johns Hopkins in spite of his low SAT score. You see, this powerful secret, strategically used by very few students, is part of UCAN Prep's 6-step system to test prep and college admission success. You see, when deployed in combination, this game-changing system can help your teen significantly boost his or her scores on the ISE, HSPT, PSAT subject test, gain 200 SAT points or 5 points on the ACT, guaranteed, while increasing the odds of admission into your teen's best fit colleges and help you safeguard your retirement. As a matter of fact, we're going to give you some proof right on this video. So here's strategy #1. As I mentioned, this is a short video, so I'm just going to share 2 specific strategies out of the 6-step system. Here we go. You want to make sure you identify and build your teen's hook starting as early as in the 8th grade. So very often we ask our students, very new students, can you tell us what are your 2, 3, or 4 hooks that make you stand out from a competitive applicant pool? The vast majority of students out there are clueless and cannot answer this question. Why? Well, they rarely were coached to identify their hook as early as the 8th grade or at the very latest in the 9th grade, and thus, to develop and strengthen these hooks throughout high school. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a strategic mistake. Unless a student doesn't correct this mistake, this student will have a really hard time getting into his or her top college picks, especially the more selective and prestigious schools out there. However, by correcting this mistake and by effectively conveying this hook on their applications, students will be able to differentiate themselves from a very, very competitive applicant pool and thus be able to effectively position themselves. Okay, so I'm going to give you an example here, and this was specifically the example of this young man, Patrick Young, and he, just so you know a little bit about his story, he came to us really late in the game, specifically around close to his senior year, and he had taken the test one time, the SAT test that is in the spring of his junior year, and he had gotten in the low 1900s. So we basically started working with him close to around September, doing some one-on-one coaching. And very frankly, we didn't have much time to hit the target score we were aiming for, which was around a 22, 2250. So it could be a competitive candidate at a school of the caliber of Johns Hopkins. So he took the test. We prepped maybe for around 4 or 5 weeks. He did improve his numbers from 1940 around a 1940 to 2050. So it was a good 100-point gain, but again, it was still far from the numbers we were that he needed. So what we did, working with him in the college admission, college admission program, is we looked very, very carefully at his bio. Now, he had done some very good things. Specifically, he wanted to declare a major in bio engineering, and so he had done all the prerequisites. He had taken, AP physics, calculus AB. He was working on, calculus BC in the fall of his senior year. He had also done some work at Caltech. However, again, with that 2050 and an okay weighted GPA in the low 400s, that number still, his numbers overall were still a far cry from what we needed for him to be very competitive at Johns Hopkins. So we looked and scrutinized very carefully his bio and noticed that in addition to doing some research work at Caltech over the summers, which was a good thing, especially for school, to build his resume for a school of the caliber of Johns Hopkins, we also noticed something interesting, and that he had done drama. You see, he had been in the drama program at a local high school, San Marino specifically, since the 9th grade. So we asked the question, and perhaps this may not be a very politically, correct question, but I'll say it. And the question was, Patrick, tell me, were you the only Asian young man, right, in that class? And he said, absolutely. Every single student in that class, were basically Anglos, okay? So I said, fantastic, Patrick. We have your hook. So what we did is we repositioned him as the actor who has happened to have done research at Caltech over the summer. You see, that positioning was way more powerful than just showcasing all the work he had done in research, because if you really think about this, students with his background seeking, to do, apply to a competitive school like a Johns Hopkins had done very, very similar type of academic work. So by really focusing on his number one hook as a thespian of sort, as an actor, someone who loved drama, but also number two who also has done research, at Caltech, we knew that would really help him differentiate himself from everyone else. And sure enough, he did get into Johns Hopkins, and so we're jazzed for that. So here's a very important point. So I just shared how we positioned Patrick. For your team, when you're seeking to build a hook, you really want to build depth and width. In other words, you really ideally want to identify at least 2 to 3 hooks. So, for instance, a classic example, say you have a very gifted quarterback seeking to apply to, say, Stanford, which, as you know, is a Division I school. Well, aside, of course, having stellar academics, that student really should have come to the table with at least 2 or 3 additional hooks. So, for instance, he could be like a star quarterback, but also he needs to come to the table with a hook such as a leadership hook, such as captain of the debate team. And as a matter of fact, we have a perfect example right now in the next slide, in this video you're going to see. But the whole point is you don't want just to develop depth. In other words, expertise in one field. You want, in essence, develop a very strong expertise and strength in 2 or 3 or even 4, specific areas or hooks, as we call it. Okay? All right. So moving forward, here's a classic example.
Hi, well, my name is Bobby Alvarez. I go to St. John Bosco High School. Before you can, my guidance department was not that great. So they just kind of took me in and say, are you taking all of your classes? I said yes, and said good, and I was out. So when I came to college, I didn't really know too much. So I took the PSAT in junior year. I got a 182, which was nowhere near what I wanted, because I wanted to go to some pretty big name school. So I went with UCAN. I drove out there every Saturday for their workshops, and I took the SAT. I got a 2090 with a perfect score in critical reading. So they helped me out a lot with that. And I thought that I was done there, but then I got to work with them in college planning. And college planning got me all the ins and outs of college, just helped me out immensely. And I got into Notre Dame, Brown, and the University of Pennsylvania. I'll be attending Notre Dame in the fall. So thank you, UCAN. It's been a great experience.
Awesome. So I want to share something really interesting about Bobby. As you can tell, I was at the graduation, and his mom shared that he had 2 or 3 other of his peers, 2 of his peers who were, I believe, valedictorians or co-valedictorians or salutatorians, who actually had way higher grade point averages, way stronger SAT scores than Bobby. But here's the thing. He was perfectly positioned. You see, you notice that he stutters. So we, in essence, built 2 hooks. Specifically, the hook number 1 was struggle. In other words, in his case, He was the stutterer. Number two, this hook number two was leadership. You see, he was the captain of the debate team. So in essence, his entire application was positioned around two hooks. And specifically, and the statement was, captain of a debate team that stutters. Now think about this. When you actually, if you were an admission officer and you in essence read about, the stutterer who happens to be the captain of a debate team, don't you think that's going to really get your attention? Bingo, you get it. That's the whole goal of strategic positioning. And you saw the schools he got into. So anyway, moving forward, here's strategy number two that successful students implement, and that is they get an early baseline SAT score by using their either PSAT or pre-SAT test that they take in the 9th grade. And then what they do is they start the test prep process around the fall, or more specifically, the spring of their 10th grade. You see, the earlier you can identify your teen's baseline SAT score or ACT score, and the earlier you know exactly what is a target school he or she is aiming for, and you can kind of figure out what are the scores you need to to aim for. Now you can figure out what the gap is, and the sooner you can address that gap and fill that gap, the better. And in order to do this, it takes time. So that's where really starting early, specifically in the sophomore year, is really the best. Here's a great example. I'll share with you in a few minutes. But before that, you see, the gist again, as I shared, is not only do you want to get a baseline score, but you also want to make sure you find a time-proven test prep strategy, that your son or daughter learns, and then at that point, go through a solid program where they will administer a minimum of 6 to 8 practice tests. We have found over the years that really taking the most amount of practice tests really does helps the student develop not only their mental stamina, because my goodness, in comparison to when you and I as parents, took the SAT, say, in high school, where the test back then was 3 hours, now it's almost 4 hours. You can imagine the level of endurance that young people nowadays have to develop. But also, by taking multiple practice tests, it really allows students to really hone their skill sets, the test prep skill sets, but of course, develop and strengthen their confidence. As you're probably aware also, a very high SAT or ACT can translate into your teen receiving merit scholarships, academic scholarships from the financial aid office. So, at some point, if you're interested in, we'll share how you really want to uncover and understand how institutional scholarships work, and also how merit scholarships work. But that will be for another video. Okay, awesome. Here's an example of really starting this process early. Here we go. Here's a case study, and she specifically started, she was one of our students who's currently a senior at the time of this video, and you can hear what her father had to say.
My name is James Scott, and I want to say how much I appreciate everything that UCAN has done for my daughter Paloma. It has been a wonderful experience for the whole family, and particularly because she started at 1850 on the SAT and went up to 2190. It was incredible. So she has done so well. It's given us a lot of confidence, and we're really looking forward to the application process, and I think that she's going to do really well. So I can't say enough of how great this experience has been.
And sure enough, anyway, we worked with Paloma also in the, with our college planning and college admission program. And here's the school she got into December of 2013. There you go. So you can notice, right? She got into her #1 top college pick, December 12, 2013. And like all our students, we're very, very proud of Paloma. Okay, great. So moving on. Now, if you like the 2 strategies we just revealed to you on this video, and you would like to discover in depth all the 6 strategies, you'll be able to find out in a minute or so how to learn all 6 strategies through an online workshop. And by the way, just for listening to the short video, you will also receive a few very valuable gifts. So here we go. Here's gift number 1. We're going to send you, we're going to specifically email you a PDF report on how to help your teen maximize his or her SAT subject tests and ACT scores. You see, this PDF will reveal to you specifically how to figure out what to take. Should your teen take the ACT or the SAT? And also a timeline. What is the best timeline to take in terms of taking these tests so that your teen's SAT or ACT scores are optimized? Another thing also is we'll discuss what specific subject tests your teen should take. Very often, by the way, it is really depending on the majors your student is thinking of declaring. Okay, gift number 2. And yes, as mentioned earlier, we will offer a free online workshop that will reveal 6 insider strategies, all 6 steps of our You Can Prep test prep and college admission system that will boost your teen's SAT score by 200 points guaranteed, plus also 15 college admission secrets that will increase your child's admission into his or her top college picks. As a matter of fact, yeah, this is one of my favorite pictures there. You'll be able to watch this right from the convenience of your home, So if you have a pet with you, you can also have it watch it with you. So, but a very important point on a more serious note here is at the very conclusion of this online workshop, where again you will discover You Can Prep's 6-step system to achieving test prep and college admission success. You, your spouse, and your teen will feel as though someone handed you a light, a light in a very, very dark tunnel. That's literally what parents have felt at the conclusion of this workshop. And again, it's all online. Now, gift number 3 is that you can actually receive a free diagnostic test either for the SAT or the ACT test. So all you have to do, by the way, is simply call our 24-hour recording and just leave your first name, last name, your teen's first name, and your primary email address so that we can schedule, someone can call you back and schedule a real diagnostic SAT or ACT test either at our center in Alhambra, California, or online, for your student. By the way, we're going to grade this test, hand grade the essay portion of the test for free. And we're going to go over the results with you during your family's complimentary session. And later on, you'll be able, if you're interested, you can learn how you can take advantage of your own complimentary strategic college planning session in which we will create a game plan, a test prep and college planning game plan personalized just for your teen. Great. And then finally, gift number 4, you'll receive an email series of very helpful test prep and college planning tips, including an SAT test prep video tutorial that will improve your child's critical reading scores on the SAT subject test, ACT, ISE, or even the HSBT test. There you go. Okay. So, how do you get these valuable resources? Very, very simple. To learn all the 6 strategies to dramatically boost your teen's SAT, ACT, or subject test scores and also receive all of our free valuable gifts, simply go to www.collegesatprep.com. Once again, www.collegesatprep.com, and then simply enter on the right-hand side your first name and email address. You'll receive then in your inbox information on how to access these powerful strategies through an online workshop, and you'll also be starting receiving all the gift that we just mentioned. Also, if you would like for your teen to receive a free diagnostic SAT or ACT test, simply call a 24-hour recording at 626-872-3059. Once again, it is 626-872-3059. Again, simply leave on the recording your first and last name, your teen's first name, and your primary email address. Someone will call you back to schedule this diagnostic test. Well, great. So I hope these 2 strategies I just shared with you were very helpful. And we're very much looking towards meeting you, getting to know you and your family and, of course, your teen. And hopefully be able to impact your son or your daughter's collegiate destiny. With this, I thank you for your time. God bless, and talk to you soon. Bye for now.